Welcome to Life Hacks Beyond Convention with Dee and Sonia.
Of course, when we went into the lockdown, that just changed life completely, especially here in Victoria.
Yeah.
Because we had curfews. You had to have far. You were only allowed to go a certain amount of kilometres from your home.
Yeah, it was.
Unless you had a permit, if you had a permit, but you could only get a permit for work purposes.
Yep.
And I think medical, I can't remember all the details now, but yeah. So there wouldn't have been much to put on for car camping with that, unless it was like, this is what I'm bumbling around doing. But yeah.
Does Victoria have any dual towns with New South Wales? Because I know, or is that Albury-Wodonga?
Yeah, Albury-Wodonga.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. That must have been a nightmare.
I remember one of my daughters, I can't remember all the details now, but must have been to do with New South Wales, Queensland, I think, because she had a contract job, and the job was on one side of I can't remember exactly what the detail was. No, can't quite remember the detail, but it was crazy. It was like maybe the hotel was on one side, but the entrance to the hotel was on the other side, or something really wackadoodle anyway. And like it took her hours to be able to get through the checkpoints of something that normally took 10 seconds.
Yes. Yeah.
And it was just because I just don't remember the details, but it was that whole border control thing. Part of where she was in one jurisdiction, and part of where she had to go to was in the other jurisdiction. Yeah, you just think, oh my goodness. And that was the same between South Australia and Victoria as well, because of what they class some of those border towns. Now, we don't have the same towns on borders in exactly the same way.
No.
But I remember talking to somebody at Bordertown when I went through the Bordertown checkpoint, one of the police officers, and he was saying that he actually lived in Neil, I think. So, you know, the wrong side of the border, and it actually caused issues. So he had to actually sleep in Bordertown when he was on shift. I remember him telling me they must have had facilities set up for them, but it was just like, so it became quite tricky for people that were in those border towns everywhere.
I have friends in Mount Gambier in those areas that have that work, have businesses that work the farming area around. So they're crossing the border multiple times because some of the properties cross borders, or
well, exactly, that's right.
Each side, and you've got to go backwards and forwards. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, so it was an interesting time in our history.
Yes.
And it did, and like if you were on the YouTube trade and it had something to do, maybe you could capitalize on it. I know quite a few people have said that they just happened. It was coincidence, we just happened to have started before COVID, but the channel really took off. But for others it was a devastating time. So it just depended, what position you're in, weren't you?
Yeah, and I guess that comes back to how can you think outside the box or outside the square to find a way to do your skills in a different way. Obviously, if it's manual labor, you can't. But yeah, I just think it could have been managed in other ways, but I don't know that it was I don't believe it was as necessary as others at all. And my only challenge was that if I can't leave my property a lot, that's not a problem to me. I'm on 9 acres. I can have my animals and everything. My problem is that my brain adjusts and I become a hermit, and then I don't want to leave. And I know it's unhealthy, so I have to manage that.
Yeah. I think that happened to me a fair bit through the whole COVID thing too, because I don't find it difficult to be on my own for long periods of time.
Exactly.
As well. Yeah. And actually at the beginning of COVID, it was a relief I remember just thinking, oh man, I don't have to worry about this whole go out, do something, be seen to be productive or any of that. But
Oh,
yeah, but then it becomes a time where it does become an issue. Like we do
yeah,
need to, well, I guess some people would say, why do you need to? But like it is nice to be an active part of a community and
yeah,
contribute to the community and, you know,
yeah,
have relationships and whatnot, isn't it, with those
yeah.
around you? I don't think it's particularly healthy to just be a hermit.
No, I don't believe it is either because we live in a society. We don't operate on our own. We're reliant on others, even if we're not communicating with them independently.
Mm,
Um, yes, so I imagine a lot of neurodivergent people would have found it a relief if they were
mm.
asking a lot, and maybe do you know what I mean? You'd, oh, good, I
Well,
don't have
yeah,
to
exactly.
be like you said.
Because
Mm.
what was it, beginning of 2020? Yeah, because I guess I'd left the.
Hit the subscribe button below if you want to follow Life Hacks Beyond Convention.